For the past year, it looked like Senator Marco Rubio's seat would be up for grabs this November, while he's now signaling a possible run for re-election, upending the Republican primary.
He is mulling that over this very weekend. Meanwhile, over in the Democratic primary, there are two candidates, and this week I sat down with one of them, Congressman Alan Grayson. And we are joined now by Congressman Alan Grayson, member of Congress from the 9th Congressional District of Florida, the Orlando area. Congressman, welcome. Glad to have you come in.
Thanks for having me.
Let's begin with this tragedy in Orlando this week. Governor Rick Scott said, quote, "The Second Amendment didn't kill these people. Evil killed these people." Of course, the evil person had an assault-style weapon. Should they be banned again?
Yes, absolutely. No question about it. What actually happened is that one person using one weapon killed almost 50 people in a matter of minutes. He couldn't have done that with a box cutter or even a pistol. It took an assault weapon to kill that many people so quickly. There's a frightening video available online of the actual shooting. If you count the shots, you'll hear 17 shots in 5 seconds. It's just too easy to kill too many people too quickly.
Right. Well, he had a semi-automatic version of a military weapon. He had a Sig Sauer MCX, which in Florida, there's no waiting period. You go in, you fill out the forms. If you're not a criminal and you pass a minimal background check and you are a resident of the state of Florida, can prove who you are, you get the gun. Is that the way it should be?
That's right. Look, we just lived through the worst mass shooting in the history of America. Why? It wasn't because this person had any special skills or abilities. It's because he had a weapon that could kill so many people so quickly. That's why it was what it was.
Yeah. Well, your Republican opponents, those who want the Republican Senate nomination, say this isn't really about weapons. That's going to be a dead-end kind of conversation. It should be about fighting terrorism. And they say President Obama, the Congress doesn't really have a viable program to fight terrorism.
Well, we don't have a viable program to fight ideas, even if they're malevolent, evil ideas. As the president pointed out, no matter how high you build the wall, it won't keep out the internet. This is someone who, as far as we can tell at this point, was acting on extremist Muslim hateful ideology.
Right. Also
but he was acting,
a homophobe.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But he was acting pretty much alone. It's not that some organization had him as a member. Right. It's not as if somebody gave him instructions. It's not as if he was some part of some terror cell. Right. And he was what the police called a lone wolf. Yeah. And that's not something that can be easily fought.
Congress, even as we speak, and the Senate, they are considering a bill that we could summarize with the term no fly, no buy. If you are on the no-fly no-fly list for terrorists, suspected terrorism, shouldn't be able to buy a gun in the United States. Do you support that?
I do. In fact, one of the things that became clear right afterward is the fact that although the FBI had spoken to the attacker 3 times, once he was off the list, the terror list, which is not the same as the no-fly list, but I don't want to get into those levels of nuances. Once he was off that list, he was receiving no further scrutiny. So we actually have 2 related problems. One is that if you're on the no-fly list, you can still purchase a gun, you can buy. That's one problem. The other problem is that once you're off the list, you don't receive any further scrutiny. Now, Senator Nelson introduced a bill that I've been calling for since the day after this tragedy to eliminate that loophole as well and make sure that if you've been on the list, if you've been scrutinized and use something like buy an assault rifle, you get back under the scrutiny and they look at you further.
Right. Congressman, in April, as you well know, the Office of Congressional Ethics released this 74-page report that essentially said they had reason to believe that you improperly ran a hedge fund, then based in the Cayman Islands, while you were a member of Congress, and that was an ethical breach. Did you break the House ethics rules?
No, and that's not what they said. They said that I might have, which is a far thing from that I did. Now, in this country, we're all innocent until proven guilty. I sit here, I look you in the eye, and I'll tell you honestly, I didn't do it. All right? What's happening right now is an attack, a smear campaign by my political opponents. I will tell you, this is the silly season. All right? This is where we are. Hillary Clinton did not kill Vince Foster. She did not have a lesbian relationship with Janet Reno.
Well, there are all kinds of silly things out there.
Exactly, and that's what I'm suffering from here.
You put this in that same category?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Harry Reid didn't put it in that category. The Senate minority leader said he was deeply troubled by the allegations and they should disqualify you from a seat in the Senate. Quote, his actions aren't just disgraceful to the Democratic Party, they disgrace the halls of Congress.
Well, I mean, look, it's politics, okay? That's the way it is. It's a very rough game that's being played against me right now. They're trying to force me out of the race because I'm winning, because people know that I'm a congressman with guts. I'd be a senator with guts. I've passed more amendments than any other member of Congress. 26 Grayson bills are now passed by the House, passed by the Senate, signed into law by the President. That's not what they want. Our leaders, both Republican and Democratic, want callow tools in office. They want people who are obedient to them.
Is Patrick Murphy, who has been endorsed by the President, the Vice President, they've both been in Florida to raise money for him, is he a callow tool?
Yes, he is.
Why?
Because he does whatever he's told by the big shots. The bosses boss him around. He does whatever the lobbyists want, whatever the leadership wants, and basically he gets nothing done. You know, I've been selected as the most effective member of Congress by Slate magazine. A different organization named him the least effective member of Congress. And sadly, that's what the political bosses want. They want somebody who's a yes man. I'm not a yes man.
Well, you are not, and you are famously known as somebody who is willing to stand up on the floor of the House or elsewhere, maybe here on Channel 10, and say some fairly outrageous things.
No, not outrageous, just honest. You know, we've reached the point now where honest is considered to be outrageous.
All right, well, Congressman, 2009, I think the first time it came to my attention and to a lot of people's attention is when you said the Republican health care plan is for, quote, sick people to die quickly. I mean, that's not something you normally hear a congressman say.
But it's true. What is the Republican health care plan for the 40 million people who don't have health coverage? What is their plan? You tell me.
Well, they say they have one. I'm not here prepared to give you what it is.
I've been in Congress now since 2008. I'll tell you, they have no plan. I was engaging in satire, if you will, to point out the hard, cold fact that there are 40,000 Americans who die every year because they have no health insurance, and the Republicans, God bless them, they have no plan. Their plan for those people is don't get sick, and if you do get sick, die quickly. If that's outrageous, it's the truth.
All right. Congressman Alan Grayson, what is the theme of your campaign? I don't mean to say reductio ad absurdum, but, I mean, people are watching this and they're saying, well, what's this campaign all about? What is your campaign?
Very simple. Seniors deserve a raise. Do you know how long it's been since we've increased Social Security benefits? Any idea? 40 years. It's been 40 years since seniors got a raise.
Cost of living allowance, the COLA goes up.
We didn't have one this year. And I was so concerned about that I asked the Congressional Research